Welcome to the launch of code word Persepolis. I'm at Old Fox Books and Coffee at Annapolis. It's after hours and the store is closed right now. I wish you were here with me, but obviously the pandemic prevents us from getting together. But I didn't want to let COVID have the last word. So I'm making this video in hope that with your help on the Zoom conference that's going to follow this, we can recapture at least some of the fun that we had here in 2017 when we launched the earlier book in the series, Code Word Pandora. Producing a video and hosting a Zoom conference is a real technology stretch for me. Fortunately, I don't have to make that stretch because these guys behind the camera here, Kevin and Aiden from Nor'easter Digital, are taking care of that. Thank you guys. As you can see from the video clip of the 2017 launch of Code Word Pandora, the Old Fox is a wonderful place. It's a community asset, a community resource, where friends and strangers connect over books, where story lives, and where wonderful coffee and snacks are served. Thanks, Janice, for letting me use your wonderful store once again to introduce my baby to the world. So, what about this new code word thriller, Code Word Persepolis? Well, I believe that it anticipates headlines because right now in the real world, Iran's uneasy neighbors are maneuvering to avoid a new era of Persian dominance, and China and America are bringing their rivalry into the region. The story sweeps from fighter cockpits to the White House Situation Room to Capitol Hill, from Washington to Tel Aviv to Tehran, and it pulls readers into the lives and struggles of warriors and their leaders. You know, about 4 years ago, Janie and I were flying to San Diego in a cold February, headed off to see our son and his family and hopefully to grab a few rays. During that flight, this story began to whisper to me. So I scooped up the Southwest Airlines cabin napkin sitting on my tray and whipped out the ballpoint that I always carry for taking notes and began jotting notes on the cabin napkin. I still have that napkin, and you're looking at it now. Those notes launched me on a 3-year writing journey, which was about a year longer than I thought. Several of you will remember getting emails from me in 2019 and 2020 saying I was going to launch this book. But you know what? This book just proved to be harder to write than either of the first two. This book, which I'm going to call Persepolis for short right now, begins about a year after the end of Code Word Pandora. In Chapter 1, Ray Morales, who's now the Secretary of Homeland Security, finds himself in a world of hurt. He's been unfaithful in his marriage, and his penitent efforts to save that marriage are failing. A senator who hates him has just been made chairman of the committee that oversees the Department of Homeland Security. Guilt dogs him over his impulsive decision about a year and a half ago to lead an off-the-books DHS raid that resulted in the death of an agent and nearly got Ray killed. In the course of that successful but badly flawed operation, Ray ran headlong into Iranian operative Adel Ghorbrani. Ghorbrani maneuvered him into a cover-up that left him feeling disrespected, dishonorable, and vulnerable. On top of all that, Ray's at risk of prosecution over the torture of a captured jihadi. He's a little less worried about that because he believes it was his duty and because it ended a nationwide terror campaign. Ray is a former Marine general, and he's followed duty wherever it led all his life, knowing that duty offers neither moral nor legal absolution, but choosing to make it his North Star anyway. Ray's never fallen short of his creed, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, until now. He's never failed, until now. He's determined to save his marriage and burns to even the score with Ghorbrani, who's now the head of Iran's not-so-secret nuclear ballistic missile program. I hope you enjoy reading how he does all that. Ray and President Rick Martin were the co-heroes of the first two books, but in this book, Ray has emerged as the hero and the leading character. There are other familiar characters in the book, of course, including President Martin, China's President Meng Lu, Ray's wife Julie, and Senator Arlene Gustafson, who's Ray's worst political enemy. But you'll also meet some new characters that I had a lot of fun with, and that I hope you like because I think they have a future as the series goes forward. You'll meet destroyer skipper Mort Greenhouse. You'll meet Navy strike fighter pilot Casey Jenkins, who goes by her radio call sign of Pecos. And you'll meet Mexican drug lord Carlos Flores Solano, whose street name, El Narrador, means the storyteller. I like to situate my plots in the real world as much as possible. That's partly so I can take advantage of what real politicians, dictators, and zealots of all kinds actually do. It's more than I can make up, really. But I also do that because I like to write stories that I would like to read. And I like my thrillers to be close to reality, like those written by David Ignatius. That said, I did grant myself considerable dramatic license in this one. Not so much that the plot couldn't happen, but I did push the envelope a bit. For example, right now there are no battleships on active service in any navy anywhere in the world, but Persepolis has one. I brought back USS Iowa, something that's virtually impossible. But it sure let me have fun hearing her guns roar defiance again, and bringing back a lot of old guys like me into the Navy for one more cruise. I set Persepolis in the Middle East, partly because Korea is pretty quiet right now, if I may dare say that. But mostly because of the political realignment that's occurring there, and the importance of Middle East oil to China. These factors are causing new tensions and may lead to conflict along lines different from the Arab-Israeli face-off that we've grown used to. I thought it would be interesting to explore that in a novel. And also, the saying, "the enemy of my enemy is my friend," probably originated in the Middle East, and that offers some pretty attractive writing possibilities too. That's about all I want to say right now up front about Code Word Persepolis. I hope you enjoy reading it. I certainly enjoyed most of the writing, and I really enjoyed the support of old and new friends who encouraged me, and they shared experiences that I needed to understand a bit about so that I could write this book. Things like flying from an aircraft carrier, dodging a missile in a jet fighter, Israeli politics, and a medical condition called pulmonary embolism. I also benefited from about a dozen folks who read the entire manuscript and offered suggestions, and again, their encouragement, the encouragement that I needed to keep writing. Thank you all. This is a trite way to put it, but it's true. Without you all, there would be no book.